All right, it is 5:30, everybody. Welcome. I think we are waiting for 1 second, the video to get started here. There it is. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Brianna Williams. I am the program manager here at Cal State Long Beach for our graduate business programs. And joining me this evening is Dr. Nguyen. He will be our moderator this evening. I'll go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Nguyen, and he will introduce our students here and get started.
Thank you, Rihanna. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Nguyen, and I'm a marketing professor here at Cal State Long Beach. I joined this university in 2007. I've been teaching in the MBA program since 2011. So I've had a lot of graduate students in my classes. And tonight we have 4 students, but we're waiting for Nico to come here. But in the meantime, we have Milvi, which is from the Master of Science in Accountancy program. We have Ayush, which is a Master of Science Information Systems student. And we have Nathan, he's from the Master of Science in Finance. So why don't we start by you introducing yourself in a few words, your background, your undergraduate background, your work experience, and what program you're in, what year you're in now. Milvi?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Milvi Chow. I'm a first-year student here at CSU Long Beach getting my Master of Science in Accountancy. It is a 1-year program, so I am a freshman and a senior at the same time, I guess, in the graduate program. And I started in the fall. I'll be graduating. There's a short summer class. I'll be graduating in the beginning of July of 2020. And let's see, what else did you want to know? Oh, my background.
Undergraduate background.
My undergraduate background. Okay, so my undergraduate background is a little interesting. I got my bachelor's in international relations and French from the University of San Diego. So I had a non-accounting background. And then I fell into an accounting role. A friend had recommended me for the accounting role, and I realized it was actually a much better fit. So I stuck with it and have been working for about 4 or 5 years now in accounting. I've done project accounting, revenue accounting at publicly traded companies like CoreLogic. And I decided, okay, I got to take it to the next level and invest in myself. So I'm getting my Master's of Science in Accountancy here. And what the goal is to eventually get my CPA. So that is a little bit about me.
Very good. Ayush?
Hi guys, my name is Ayush and I'm a master's student here for information systems at CSULB. So this is my 2nd semester here, so I'm in my 1st year as well. And yeah, I'll be graduating next year at the same time. That's going to be my last semester. It's a 2-year program. For my undergrad, I did my undergrad in computer science engineering. So it was more of a technical degree. And this is more like information systems is more like a business plus a computer degree. It's a blend of both of them. So yeah, my undergrad is from Nagpur University. I'm an international student. So the university is in India. And after completing my undergrad in 2018, like I got my results on June 8th, 2018. And after that, I did some freelancing because I wanted to pursue my master's since always, and I wanted some more time to prepare just to get myself out there. And I wanted to do something, pursue a degree where my job role, my career path in the future would be interacting with a lot of people rather than sitting in a cubicle and writing some code. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to pursue my master's in a degree like this, and information systems was a perfect blend of both. I'm getting my perfect technical knowledge with respect to all the latest things from the industry, as well as I'm learning about the business aspects that works in the IT. So yeah, I did some freelancing for a year just to support myself, and then I came here in August.
All right, very good. Nathan?
I'm Nathan Despain. This is my 1st year here at CSU Long Beach. I did my undergrad at Utah State, and I did my undergrad in economics. And I actually started my master's in financial economics at Utah State before I took a job out here in California. And I'm still working at my job currently as I'm going to school. I am an analyst for a financial advising firm where we help school districts through the bond issuance process to get school districts the money that they need to build new schools, new buildings, renovate. And so like I said, I'm still doing that job as I'm going to school full time in the evenings. And
All right, let's talk about the factors that you were considering in your selection of programs to apply to. So, my question for you is, what are the factors that you consider, and then what brought you here to Cal State Long Beach? Start with Millie.
For the MSA program, and for me, it was really getting the best bang for your buck. So it's a relatively short program. For master's programs, it's 30 units. Some master's programs might be a little bit more, like 45, but typically if you're trying to get your CPA and meet the 150 units requirement, and the typical undergraduate degree is 120, that difference of 30 units can be achieved through a master's program. So being able to not take too many coursework and kind of hitting the sweet spot in terms of credits was a big deal for me, because then I wouldn't be spending as much time or money than necessary. And the cost of tuition here is relatively affordable as well for a master's. So those were the two main factors for me.
So for you, if I can recap, it's the speed to market,
Yes.
and then the affordability of the tuition or the program here,
Yes,
which of course is, I believe that they're very important factors as well.
definitely.
Ayush?
So as I already said, I didn't want to write code all my life. So I wanted to go out, talk to people, travel the world. And I wanted to, but something that came inside from me was, I want to add in value at a scale, right? So the best thing, I contacted a lot of my seniors from undergrad who were pursuing the same fields, and analyzed what's going to help me the most. So I found the information systems program a perfect blend of both the technical and the business aspects. So I can enhance my technical knowledge, and during the same time I can just talk to people, build on projects, write down frameworks, which is far, in my opinion, which is far more fun than writing some lines of code. So,
what brought you to this program in particular? Did you look at other schools, or did you just apply to?
I actually did. I got a few my applications were accepted from a few universities, but coming to CSULB was my priority because it is one of the most diverse universities in the United States.
Talking about the student body.
Yes.
And the faculty as well.
Yes. So it's more like when people come from different origins, different regions, you learn more about how humans behave, what their abilities are, and how do they respond. And I think that's going to be helpful going ahead in my career, because I'm looking forward to collaborate with people. So that's why I thought it's going to be like, I'll be learning 24/7 when I'm in this university. So and the faculty is doing some tremendous research out here. I have been working with Dr. Mohammed in the Information Systems Department. We just got a paper accepted in one of the conferences. The conference is on 1st April.
Very nice.
So yeah, this was one of our main motives for coming to CSULB.
Excellent. What about you, Nathan?
So probably the main factor that led me here was the convenience of being able to still work full time and then do my program in the evenings. Being that I live in Huntington Beach in Orange County, it's not the cheapest place, so I definitely needed to keep working if I wanted to be able to go to school. So I actually started looking at online programs first, just to see, because like I said, I started my master's before, and it's always just been sitting in the back of my mind that I wanted to finish up. So I started looking at online programs, something that I could do without having to worry about traveling to a university. But then as I continued my search, I then decided, why don't I look at Long Beach, and why don't I look at Irvine? Those are relatively close to where I was at. And saw Long Beach's program, and everything just kind of started to line up that it was relatively close to me, and the program is done in the evening, so I can still work. And for me, the price was, a little more pocket friendly.
The return on investment.
Yeah, because I didn't take out loans for this. I've been going into my savings and paying for it as I go. And so, that was also another factor, because a lot of the online ones were definitely more expensive. And so, just kind of
especially for finance professional like you, return on investment is extremely important. I mean, it's important for everyone, but it kind of, I guess it stands out more to you. And you mentioned work, because you're working full time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about how you three manage and juggle between work, school, and social life, family life. How do you manage that?
Well, for me, I'm a full-time student right now, so it's not so bad at all. For the MSA program, our classes are at night. They usually start at 6 p.m. 2 nights a week, and then there's a Saturday class as well. So it is manageable if you're working full-time too. So we have a variety of people who are working versus not working. And so I think a lot of people are able to manage the workload, partially because it's manageable. Like the amount of homework that we have isn't like a crazy amount, but really the objective of the professors are to have you learn something from the class. And the professors are also very, very understanding to students that have work issues that might come up or family issues that might come up, because we all have lives. Like, some of us are married, some of us have kids or jobs or whatever it may be. So they tend to be more flexible than they might be to the undergraduate student who really doesn't have a whole lot of obligations at the moment, perhaps. So I think that it is very manageable, whether or not you're going to school and working or have a family. So in one of my groups, I have a assistant controller who's in my group, and she has 2 teenagers, and obviously a lot of responsibility at her work, and she's going to school full-time technically with 12 units a semester. So she's able to juggle it, so if you have more responsibilities, obviously it's going to be more challenging, but if you're organized and you talk to your professors, you communicate with them ahead of time, it's very manageable.
Teammates,
yeah, and you have teammates as well, so you can help each other out.
Very good. Ayush?
For me, managing the work life and school balance is not a big deal as well, because my classes are on Thursdays, that's today, and they're on Fridays. So Fridays I don't go to work, and on Thursdays it's at 7 p.m. So it's really easy for me to get to work, and I work part-time. So I'm an international student, I can't work full-time, so I work part-time at the university itself, and it's really easy for me, to be honest. Like,
So you feel that the amount of schoolwork is quite manageable?
yes,
It's not overwhelming?
like sometimes it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. But what happens is you have to set your priorities. That's what I've learned after coming here. Like, until now I was living at my own house. Like, it was inside a bubble. But now here, like, I have to be far more like what my father always wanted me to be honest. So here I'm prioritizing my things. So if I have to go to work, okay, I have a routine. I have to go to work at 12 or at 1, because I have less working hours than a full-time professional. So yeah, I have to go to work, and if I have homework, I have to return back, eat some food, take some rest, and then start doing my homework for 2 hours. Then I have to cook my food, and then I have to sleep. So this is like my normal routine during the weekdays. But when you have Saturday classes, you wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, get to do 2 classes all day, get back home at 5 p.m. And that's where, you get a slot from Saturday evening until Monday morning. That's your free time during the whole week. So that time, the best things to do is to contact your family first, go out with your friends. That's what I do particularly. And if I have time, I do my homework on Sundays. That's the big deal.
How about you, Nathan? The fully employed student.
So I actually kind of lucked out with my company. My company was very understanding of my situation, and so instead of working my typical 9 to 5, I was actually able to work with them to where I bumped up I started my work day earlier, so now I work from 7 to 3, and that gives me enough time if I need to, one, to get, from my office, which is in the opposite direction of Long Beach, home, to do some studying or anything that I need to before class, and then head up to campus. So that was one big thing. But yeah, I pretty much just realized that my social life's going to take a hit. I've just been kind of a hermit this year, just living in my house, not really going out or anything, because during the week I'm busy with work, and then immediately from work to class, and then the weekend is usually where I spend most of my time doing my homework and my projects and everything else, trying to get like a week's head start, so that way I'm not super bogged down in that short time before class each day.
So what I've heard from you is that time management and knowing how to prioritize tasks is really important for busy master's students. Have you ever had an experience where it was really overwhelming and extremely challenging, the amount of what you had to do at school and work, and maybe something in your family that you had to overcome, if any, and how did you do that? Have you ever had an experience where everything just collapsed at one time, or it was, you felt like this is quite overwhelming, and but you were able to overcome it?
I mean, I'll keep talking. So a lot of what I do revolves around election cycles. And so being that this is an even year, an even numbered year, 2020, it's an election year. And during the election year, we have to, the amounts that we're going to issue in bonds, we have to get that approved by the taxpayers, meaning that those school bond measures need to go on the current elections. And so right now, work has been pretty crazy actually, just because there's so much to do in preparation, helping these school districts place their bond measures on the ballots. And so I've actually been working more and still trying to squeeze everything in. And just kind of going back to what you were saying about time management, I just really have to, everything that I do like during the weekend is completed, so that way if I'm needed at work longer, then there are some days that I can work clear up until I drive straight to campus. And so it's just been a lot, but the first election is done on this upcoming Tuesday, so everything will calm down for a sec. I've been running pretty thin lately.
And is that a skill that you recently learned or taught yourself, or have you always been a very organized person?
It definitely is come with age. I'm not like the oldest person, but I'm 27. And yeah, as I've gotten older, I've just kind of had to mature, set my priorities in line with just knowing, okay, it's time for me to grow up a little bit. I got to put the childish things aside for a minute and just really focus on trying to, advance myself in my life right now. This will help me out in the long run. I'll have my social life in a little bit.
Just bite the bullet and get through it first, right?
Yep.
What about you two? Did you have any experience to share?
Yes, it actually happened last semester. So as I already told you guys, I have 2 classes on Saturday and 1 on Thursday. So during the finals week, all the 3 exams came in 3 days and they were windows. So what happened was, we had 3 exams in 3 days and 2 were on Saturday. And I just joined work 10 days ago, so I couldn't take any leaves. And no matter how much you study during the semester, 2 days before exam, you're blank, right? So that was a moment of panic for me, because everything that I have been delaying for the last minute, it got piled up. And after that, whatever I knew, I was doubtful about that as well. So yeah, it was like I had like 7 days for the first exam, and I had to tell myself, okay, like it's game time. You have to work now. So I I started prioritizing study even higher. Like I have a priority. Like I go to work, then I'll study, then I'll go to the gym, and then I'll talk to the family. Like that's my priority right now. But I was like, I called up my mom and I was like, okay, if you don't hear from me for the next 10 days, don't worry, I'm okay. First. Second, I started going to work a little bit earlier, like from 1 to 5, I started going 11 to 3 or 12 to 4, just to make that balance. And my supervisor was pretty cool with it, so he was supporting me on that. And I started going to online courses. Like, I had to get my things done faster. So I went online, looked up through courses, looked up YouTube videos, started playing them at 2x speed just to get through that video faster. So that's how I did it.
All right.
I haven't had any major challenges yet, but I feel like the coursework was pretty manageable for the MSA program. And I think a big thing that helped was the team members that I chose for my group. So, your team members for the first semester, if you start in the fall, they are, you have team members in all 3 of your classes, and typically people choose the same team members for all 3 classes. And so, I was lucky enough and had a really great group of teammates, and we just kind of really helped each other out, and not only help each other with the group project, but if we had questions on the homework or wanted to do like a study session in preparation for the exam, that was also really helpful. So like establishing those connections early on at the beginning of the semester, I think was just really important to have a solid group of classmates that we could rely on each other,
Right.
Especially if something come up and someone had to miss class, which has happened.
Right.
We could kind of fill in each other and help each other out.
Right.
Yeah.
So the key that I've heard from you 3 is to have a network of people, whether it's family members or supervisors or bosses at work, who understand what you're going through and who is willing to support and be flexible with you. I think that's quite important. So for the students out there who are interested in our programs, they're probably very curious about what the in-class experience is like. So can you talk a little bit about how the classes are here, the master's class? Is it more discussion-based, seminars, lectures, in-class experience, projects, simulations? What is it like?
Okay, okay, so a classroom where you're pursuing your MS degree is really different from your undergrad classes. First of all, that's something you need to accept, right? No one's helping you out. Like no one's like, okay, this is A, read A. No one's telling you that, right? You have to learn to learn. You need to know how to learn things on your own. You have to go out and explore on your own. And typically in a master's class, there are the students are from diverse backgrounds. Like in my class, I have students from MBA programs, I have from electrical engineering, accountancy, and I'm from computer science. So it's a pretty crazy experience out there because not everyone knows everything. There's some concept that an MBA student understands. There are some concepts that a computer science student understands. So that's like the class is a mixture of everywhere.
Backgrounds. Right?
Yes, a lot of people are there, and for, you can't predict how the professor is going to take the class forward. Like it's not a class, it's a discussion mostly. So professor is throwing out questions at you rather than giving you the information. You're getting the questions, and you have to give the information. And sometimes just so that Saturday morning classes, so I have to, like when the professor is throwing out questions, just so that he knows I'm listening, I have to Google the answers and then tell him, right? So that makes it a two-way street, and that's what makes the class far more interesting.
Very interactive.
Yes,
Right.
they are highly interactive. Like 2 weeks ago, the professor just said, okay, just check the IP address of the CSULB website. And I came with a random answer. I don't know. We all had to use our computers for that. It came out with a random answer. Even though while I was dictating the answer, the professor was very confused. What is he saying? And it's like a learning experience, but someone answered it correctly, right? So that's how you learn. Like I learned, okay, if you want, this is a difference between what the correct answer was and what you were doing, right? So it's more of learning in that way rather than talking about textbooks or something like that.
Okay. It's very practical and it's
Yes.
very two-way.
Yes.
Okay.
You're expected to know a lot of things before.
Right. Absolutely. This is the master's level.
Yeah. That's it.
Nathan?
Yeah, in our class settings, to be completely honest, the professors really do try to have it be, more of a discussion based. But we do have a lot of people that are working professionals as well as going to school. And so by the end of the day, from that 7 to
The
10, yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of pulling teeth to get us to, but the professors are understandable with that. They know that like, oh, they're tired. They've had long days, and so. But outside of that, we do a lot of projects and things that we're presenting to the class, and so just because if we're not, sitting in like a lecture style class, evening, then it's, groups are getting up and presenting. And so it's a good mix of lecture versus all of us basically teaching each other.
And there are projects that are team-based.
Yes, always. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had like a presentation type. Oh, I've had one that was just by myself that I had to get up in front of the class. But everything else besides that, you're always working with teams.
Okay. What about the Master in Accountancy program?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to Nathan's experience. I think there's a lot of lectures as well as some discussion. There's a lot of group projects, especially in the beginning. So it's kind of a mix of a little bit of everything.
And since, and that's how I teach my class too. It's a seminar. I don't lecture straight from, textbook. It's more of a discussion. Like Ayush said, I ask a lot of questions and the students are, me as a professor and the students as a class, both of us are responsible to generate the knowledge in that class, which of course entails disagreement. Disagreement, among the students themselves. Sometimes they disagree with, what I say. I disagree with what they say. As students, how do you handle disagreement when someone in class completely disagrees with what you're saying?
I think you see that a lot less in accounting because accounting's like
2 and 2 is 4.
2 and 2 is 4. Follow the law.
Right.
So there's a little bit less of that in accounting, but every now and then you hear students share their experiences with their jobs. So I can't talk about disagreements as much, but you do have students sharing their experiences.
Okay. Because all of these 3 programs are very quantitative, right? So there's only one way from A to B, and 2 and 2 is 4. Versus in my classes it's marketing, and so it's very qualitative, and there's a lot of uncertainty, factors facing companies, and there are different solutions to a problem. So I guess I'll switch to the next question. What have been the greatest impacts of your education on your work performance? Whether you're working full-time, do you see the impact of what you're learning in the classroom, or part-time, or in your job search?
Right now, currently, one of the courses that I'm taking is fixed income securities, which another name for that is bonds, and that is my line of work. And so in this semester right now, I see a lot of overlap with things that I understand from work and things that I'm learning in the classroom. And yeah, it's been a really good experience just to, I'm still one of the younger guys at work, even though I've been there for a couple of years, but still just anything else that I can learn, because a lot of what I do is on GO bonds, general obligation bonds, which is different from, corporate bonds. And so that's bringing in a whole different side of things to learn. So it's, I'm still learning stuff that's helping me with my work at the same time, just building on top of what I already know. So it's been very beneficial.
Very good.
For me, okay, so first of all, when you're pursuing an MS degree like you, so what happens is you learn a lot of things from the discussions that you have in class, and you when you get to meet new people, they tell you their new experiences. Like you have new stories that you know, and you take the lessons from their stories, right? So first of all, like I have far more skills than I had when I worked in here. So even when my job is like going from point A to B, I can, I can just tell them, okay, I can do C as well, right? So it's like broadening my horizon, and while learning about new ethics that you need to apply in your job, that will help you to get the work done. So that's one of the major impacts that the MS degree is putting in my life. Like my job role is just doing, like, it's a part-time job, so it's mostly about content creation and digital content. But I'm like helping, like right now, my latest proposal that I sent today was about building a chatbot into a, like it's a complicated, like it's a purely technical thing that I'm not responsible to do. And for that, I have to contact like 5 different organizations across the campus just so that I can get the proper keys and I can build the thing right here. So yeah, so it's mostly about increasing your horizon.
All right. And you, Millie?
Sure. So some of the immediate effects that you can see are like brand recognition. Like you tell people, oh, I'm getting my master's at CSU Long Beach. Like, oh, wow, really? Like, that's really cool. And so it's definitely something people are impressed by, and that it remains with them. And also, I think just being able to learn immediately in class, and sometimes you might be able to apply that at work as well. One of our new classes with MSA programs, the Information Systems class, which is really important as technology continues to evolve, even in the accounting world. And so, they try to introduce new formulas in Excel, new programs that we might use like Access, Tableau, Power BI. We're going to do a little Python. So things that you might be able to apply immediately in your work. Long-term effects, I definitely, there's a huge recruiting presence on campus for the accounting students through the student organizations like Beta Alpha Psi and Accounting Society. So they come both in the fall and in the spring. And there's an event called Meet the Firms, where a lot of CPA firms, government organizations, private companies come and meet just CSU Long Beach students, including Big Four and other CPA firms. So students are offered pretty quickly jobs that they can start upon graduation. And so I think that is one of the more longer term effects. And then obviously the main reason why people come and get their masters in accountancy is to get their CPA. So that's obviously one of the longer term goals.
All right. And what have been the biggest benefits that you've got from classmates, peers, as well as professors in the classroom? How have you benefited from your peers as well as your professors?
So
you mentioned that the classmates come from very diverse backgrounds. How have that helped you in your study and also professional life?
So as Nathan said, like we have a lot of group projects. Like almost every class has a project, and it's mostly a group project, right? So what happens is in your group you have people who have a different career background as you are, right? So if one person is from marketing, one is from MBA, we're from computer science, like you have to build a project, you have to build a product, right? So in that case, you have a brain of a programmer. So you think like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, and it's gonna happen. But then the marketing guy comes like, okay, who's gonna buy this, right? So there comes a picture where you learn a lot of things. You take a different look at the same thing, and in my opinion, that's one of the most important things that you need to have in your mind when you are managing a team or building a product, right? So yeah, that's one of the like major benefits that I have from a BS.
Okay.
One of, you're kind of going along with what was just said. Like I said earlier, that my undergrad was in economics. When I was doing my undergrad, I did not take a single finance class. It wasn't part of my prerequisite to graduate. And so really when I started my master's before at Utah State, that was kind of my first introduction to finance classes. And so as I've been taking my courses here, I don't have as much of a finance background as what some of these students have already been prepared with, doing an undergrad in finance. And so I've had to lean a lot on the knowledge of the students around me to, have them kind of take my hand and teach me and just kind of walk me through that base knowledge that they already had. And so that's been probably the biggest thing for me, is that even though it doesn't matter what your background is, you can have a background, an undergrad in really anything, and your fellow classmates are going to be there to help you along the way, and they'll catch up to speed.
Very good.
I think the thing that I've benefited from and enjoy the most is forming new friendships with my classmates, getting to know them not only as like networking contacts, but like actually getting to know them as people that I really enjoy hanging out with. So I think that has been a fun experience. It doesn't always have to be a drag to go to school. Like you can actually enjoy it too and enjoy your classmates. So I enjoy that.
And the last question before I turn it over to prospective students to ask you questions. What general advice would you give to prospective students out there who are very close to applying, who still having doubts or uncertainty about the time commitment, the financial commitment? What advice would you give them?
The advice that I'd give to anybody considering this program is really, when you think about applying to jobs, you need to understand that there are algorithms that will kick out your resume depending on, if you only say undergrad. If you have the ability to, in a year's time, get a master's degree that you can put on your resume, you will make it through so many different levels of, large business algorithms that would otherwise kick you out. So that's, one word of advice, just to, consider that really will help you. As for my program specifically, one word of advice that I would give is that our program is designed kind of around the CFA exam. If you're working full-time and going to school, my word of advice would be to maybe wait until, the December CFA exam after your coursework is completed before you try to take that exam. Because trying to work full-time and do class and fit in your CFA studying is very tough. And that's kind of the situation that I've been faced with this semester. I've had to decide that, okay, I'm no longer, because work got really busy, I haven't been able to focus on studying for the CFA, which is what my program is helping me prepare for. Anyway, But I just need to push it back until I've completed all my coursework just to give myself some more time.
So the timing of that certificate needs to be well thought out and very strategic to the sequence of classes you're taking.
Yes, because some of your courses will not be completed. So the CFA exam in June is going to occur before I'll have even completed my last two courses. So that's something to consider. The December is probably a better goal in mind.
Very good practical advice. How about you too?
Okay, I'll go. I would say just know what you are looking for and what you want, what you prioritize. When you're looking at a master's program, are you looking for a quick turnaround in the program, which I think CSU Long Beach does a good job of because it's only 30 credits. Are you looking for an affordable program, which I think CSU Long Beach checks off on that list. Are you looking to transition into a CPA firm or Big Four? Again, they recruit heavily on campus, so I think that's another checkbox. So it really depends on what you're looking for and whether you think this is the best fit for you or not. And if you have any questions about whether to make it work or not, I would definitely recommend reaching out to the graduate program contacts because they might be able to give you more information than is available on the website. When I went into the program, I found out more information than was available on the website, and they might be able to help you figure out how to make it work.
Great. Ayush?
Okay, so to sum up in a few lines, I would just say, know what you want to do. One of the most common questions that an HR asks during the interview is, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years, 15 years? Right? So that's the question you should ask yourself right now, because this is the time you can change your career path, or you can do a master's in your existing field, whatever you did your undergrad in. So you should have a reason for doing this, right? Just not because of your family wants or your friends are doing it. You need to have a reason. My reason was, I don't want to write code. Simple. So I want to do this. Okay. This leads me to where I can build products, I can become a business analyst, and that's it. That's one of my stupid reasons for pursuing this program. And to pursue the MSIS program, I would really recommend you to have your basics clear. That's the first thing. And be ready to work, to be honest. Tech industry is changing every minute. So you have to be on your toes and learn new things. This is far more less than people who major in computer science, but still you have to work.
And we just have Nico join us.
I'm really sorry.
He's a representative from our Master of Science in Marketing Analytics. Milvi and Ayush and Nathan have just shared with the audience here their experience in their program. If you can say a few words about your background and what is your goal being enrolled in this program, and what have you learned so far in this program, and what do you think this program will prepare you for by the time you graduate?
Okay. So back in the Philippines, I was a marketing assistant with Lenovo.
Can you speak up a little?
Oh, sorry. I was a marketing assistant with Lenovo back in the Philippines, and then I wanted to pursue a marketing degree that tackles with big data. So I wanted the job that would enable me to get a job that would, deal with the current trend of big data. So I moved here. I wanted to pursue my education in the US, and here I am. And I'm enjoying it here.
Did you apply to more schools than just CSULB, or was this the only one?
This is the only one, because it was more of a personal choice to move to California, and then I wanted a marketing degree from a California university. So I chose CSULB.
Can you share with us some interesting concepts or skills or things that you've the program that he's in is to prepare students to work in fields of analytics and social media. So what have been some of the most exciting or most valuable classroom experiences?
Well, I wasn't learned in Google Analytics before. And then we had a digital marketing class and social media class with Dr. Wang. And we had a group project where we had to use the Google platform to serve ads for a nonprofit organization. So that was really a good experience for me, and I was able to learn a lot with Google Analytics and how it works and how it benefits an organization.
And Nico is an international student in our program, and the MSMA is the STEM designated program, which gives international students 3 years of optional practical training after graduation. And so what do you think about the prospect, for professionals in analytics? Job prospects in the economy, the way that we're moving into, deep learning, machine learning, AI.
I recently actually read an article in LinkedIn that it says jobs in big data are still the hottest jobs in the market right now. So it still continues, and it will not leave the job market anytime soon. So I think job prospects in the field of big data is really hot right now, and you have a lot of options in the market right now. You wouldn't run out of options.
Okay. So I think time-wise, this is the time for us to open the forum to anyone out there who might have questions for our current students. And Rihanna can help us, with reading the questions that we have.
Yes, so feel free at this time to take yourself off of mute if you do have any questions for us. We will all be able to hear you here, and the students can answer your questions. Or if you feel more comfortable typing your questions into the chat box is open. Feel free to type them in there, and then I can read the questions aloud and have the students here ask them. So we'll turn it over for questions. We have about 12 or so minutes to go as far as the Q&A portion.
The Q&A portion for the students, and then Rihanna can answer admission questions and test score requirements and things like that.
Right.
Hi, Rihanna. This is Gina. I have a quick question with respect to the evaluation portion. So let's say I applied to CSULB for the MIS course, and I do have 6 years of work experience in the analytical field. What are the chances for me to get admission in CSULB?
Okay, so I'm going to answer admissions questions at the end of the session, so just hold tight to that question and I will get back to that. I promise. Our students here do have class, they need to leave at 30, so we only have about 10 minutes to ask any questions that you guys have directly related to program specifics.
Yes, I do have questions related to the program. What are the tools and technologies the student experiences most, which is used in the industry?
Okay, so it actually depends on what career path you are taking after graduating from your program. So the basic thing, the basic tool that you need to be familiar with is Tableau or Power BI, mostly Tableau. So that helps you in visualizing data and getting knowledge from the data that you have, right? Second is SQL. You need to know SQL. It deals with databases and organizing and cleaning data and getting information as well. And you need to know Python. Python is like one of the trending languages now. Like everyone's after Python.
Well, for me, because I don't have any background on Python, but during class, the professor will really take it step by step so that every student will learn, regardless of the background of a student, you will be able to learn how to code with Python, even without prior knowledge of it.
Yeah, and yes, that's all. Like these are the main 3 tools and technologies that you need to have on to learn to excel in your career after graduating.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm taking much of the time, but just one quick question. Is there any statistical tools taught by any of the professors? If yes, what is that tool for the statistical analysis and machine learning projects?
Oh, she's asking about
are, right?
For us, we were taught SPSS, so that we had for our marketing research class. So yeah.
So SPSS is a statistical software program that can handle a lot of survey data, and it's a drop and click software. You don't have to write codes in it, so it's quite user friendly, and it can handle a very large amount of survey data.
All right, so I have a question here in the chat box, and I'll go ahead and read it and see. It's more directed to IS, but maybe IS and marketing could answer this. They want to know more about opportunities for internships and on-campus jobs. So if you guys can talk about your experience or your knowledge with internships and on-campus jobs.
So I'm not really required to do an internship, but I am looking for an internship after the program, so OPT. About in-campus jobs, I recently got a job in campus as an international student with the grad office. So I'm working now as a social media student assistant. So that is actually more connected to what I'm learning too. So that's good.
I'm also an international student, and I also work as a social media student assistant, but I work for the parking and operations department. So it's like getting, first I'll address the on-campus jobs. So it's getting an on-campus job is not a very tough deal. You just need to be proactive. Like, you have career links, so just keep applying, right? And you need to learn how to use your resume or your cover letter just to grab the hiring manager's attention, right? You have to showcase your skills, and like, you could just do Photoshop and you can say, I designed this and created wireframes and stuff like that. But what you're doing is you are just putting up screenshots of your app into a dummy phone photo, right? It's you need to tell how you need to know how to sell yourself. So you'll be sold. Like, it's a piece of cake after that. And for the internships, like, I'm looking for internships, and it's mostly about how well do you apply. So we have Michelle and Bert on campus. So they're helping us out building our resumes and cover letters for the organization out of the campus. So it's mostly about networking, being proactive, and defining your skills in such a way that the hiring manager will be, he would have just to get you on an interview.
I have a question with respect to an internship. Is internship allowed to be done outside the California state, or it has to be in the California, because some of the colleges do restrict doing internship outside the states?
I heard. So you can do these internships all across the United States. There's not a big deal about it. It's mostly about, you need to have an internship. That's all. Like, you're not restricted to just one state or one country or one type of organization. Like, if you're hired by NASA, good.
Yes, because I have a couple of students from Cal State University of Fullerton, where they are not allowed to do an internship outside California because they have their own rules. So just wanted to clarify, is there any rule in Long Beach University or not?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not that I know of. You can do your internship anywhere.
I've been applying to different countries as well, so it's not a big
It
deal.
just might
Okay.
if you're an international student, if you're qualified for CPT or OPT, because CPT you can only do CPT after 9 months of doing the program.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking about CPT one. Yes, you're right.
So you can only, that's what I've learned from the international office who's been working with me too. So you can only do the CPT after 9 months of your program.
And that's important to keep in mind, because if you're doing a program like the MS Marketing Analytics program, it's only a 1-year program. So you wouldn't be able to start an internship until after the program is already over by that first summer. IS is a little bit longer. It is a 2-year program,
Yes.
so you may have the summer in between, but a lot of our students like to go home and be with their families too, so.
Yes, but it depends on the priorities.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, okay, so we have another question. Somebody is asking if students can take courses in different departments. For example, they're interested in the MSIS program, but they're interested in the marketing analytics course. So for the IS program, it's what we call self-support. The university doesn't allow for you to mix self-support classes with state support classes. The MS Marketing Analytics course would be considered a state support. It's different funding, so it gets really complicated, but you're not allowed to mix in between. And we do a very good job of keeping you pretty busy with not really having much wiggle room for taking any other classes outside of your particular program. For example, the MS Marketing Analytics class in their first year, they have classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. There's no other classes offered on Fridays. Maybe a Saturday class if you want to show up on a Saturday, but again, with mixing of the self-support and the self-state support side programs, it makes it a little bit more difficult not to be able to take both. So the other question from Abraham has to do with admissions, particularly GRE scores, so I'll get to that in a little bit. We have about 5 more minutes. There's another question about GRE scores, so I will get to that. Abraham has another question about IS and marketing analytics compared to MS in applied statistics. Any? No.
I don't have any experience on applied statistics? Applied statistics?
Yeah.
But in marketing analytics, we mostly deal with survey data. So marketing related survey data. So maybe that's the key difference between applied statistics and marketing analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you still have to take statistics. I mean, courses that have the statistics component in them.
Yeah.
Your market research class has statistics in it.
Mm-hmm.
For the IS program, I can tell you, like, you have to take one statistics class, but there's no defined sort of data that you get. Like, you can get any sort of data and you have to work on it, like when you're working as a full-time professional. So, and sorry, no information about applied statistics.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Syed. So I sent out a question in regards to both analytics and financial engineering. So do the school offer this kind of program or hybrid?
Engineering.
Financial engineering, no.
No.
No,
Okay.
there's no coding whatsoever in the finance program.
Okay.
One of the professors for the quantitative analysis class, he also taught the investments class as well. We kind of ran out of time with this semester, but there could be some coding in the future with his investments or with his investments class. So, but as of right now, there wasn't.
And how about analytics? Anything with the cross between finance, MS, and analytics? Can you take courses across both programs?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay. Well, we are out of time. It is 6:30, as I promised. Everybody here has to get to class, so thank you all so much for your time. And Dr. Nguyen, thank you so much for moderating this evening. We will let you all go, and I am going to actually pull up just the last piece of our session this evening, which is going to talk about the admissions process.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, so for those who were not here earlier, again, my name is Rihanna Williams. I'm the program manager for our graduate programs here at Cal State Long Beach. And what I am showing you on this screen, and just want to make sure that everybody can see the screen okay. Okay, so this is our application process, what I'm going to go ahead and walk you through. So our general application requirements include a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited university, the GMAT or GRE exam. We accept both. You don't have to take both, but we do accept one or the other. There's no preference given to one or another. You are required to also upload a current resume to the Cal State Apply application. You're required to submit a video statement of purpose, a 3 to 5 minute video statement of purpose. There's also a short response written statement, which is just kind of a simple essay question prompt that you're going to be replying to in the actual application itself. And then lastly, we are asking for 2 letters of recommendation. So you'll be providing the name and the email address of your recommenders. They will be receiving an email from us requesting for them to upload your letter on behalf of your application to our program. So the application process begins with creating your profile through Cal State Apply. Applications opened October 1st of 2019 for our fall 2020 semester, and we are currently accepting applications now. The deadline to apply is April 1st for international applicants and June 1st for domestic applicants. We do have an early admission decision process, basically, which means that the earlier that you apply, the soonest that you get all of your documents into our office, the soonest that you will have an admissions decision from us. So you do not have to wait until the application deadline to apply or submit all of your documents. In fact, we do encourage you to apply as early as possible, so that way we can work with you, get everything in, and let you know whether or not you've been admitted to the program. So there are 4 quadrants of the application. You're required to complete all 4 quadrants, and you would then go ahead and submit your application along with the non-refundable $70 application fee. Once you've submitted your application to the university, you'll be receiving an email from the university with instructions on how to go about sending your official test scores as well as your transcripts to us. Let's see. So our contact information is here. Again, I am the program manager for our MS in Marketing Analytics degree program. Giselle Overly, she is the program manager for our MS Accountancy program, as well as our MS in Finance program. And Lindsay Stirk is our program manager for the MS Information Systems program. Dr. Martin is our director of graduate programs. And everybody will be receiving a recording of this session, more than likely sometime tomorrow, and along with the slides here. So everybody will have our contact information as well. I will go ahead and I will open it up for questions. So if anybody has any questions regarding the application process specifically, or admissions questions, I'll be happy to answer those. I think there was a question here regarding the GRE and GMAT. So yes, so the GRE, GMAT scores are required. They would need to be submitted by June 1st. So basically, sorry, you have to sit for the exam by June 1st at the very latest if you're a domestic applicant. June 1st would be the absolute last day that you can sit for that exam, keeping in mind that it does take us a little while to receive the scores. It typically takes about 2 or 3 weeks or so. We've kind of buffered that for you, so we know to expect the test scores to come in later. But yeah, June 1st would be the absolute last day to sit for that exam. And then just keep in mind, we're not going to be able to give an admission decision to you until we do receive those official test scores. Any other questions? Feel free to take yourself off of mute to ask any other questions that you all have, or type those into the chat box as well.
Hi, this is Sayed. Good question. What about the process for GRE or GMAT waivers?
So it would depend on the program that you are applying for. So typically it's going to be at least 4 years or more of significant managerial work experience. For, I believe it's our IS and our marketing analytics program, we are also looking for, in addition to that 4 years of managerial work experience, it does have to be in the managerial capacity, not just work experience. In addition to that 4 years of managerial work experience, we are also looking for some type type of programming, full-time programming experience or marketing experience for both of the IS or the Marketing Analytics degree program. The MSA program is a little bit different in terms of the waiver for the MSA program. You are going to be required to have at least a 3.0 GPA in accountancy from an AACSB accredited university within the last 3 years. For the remaining programs, it'll be the 4 years of managerial work experience or having a bachelor's in business degree from an AACSB accredited university. And yeah, someone asked if the fellow students are on LinkedIn. I believe that some of them do have their LinkedIn profile. As Ayush mentioned, Bert and Michelle, they are our staff for our Graduate Business Career Services Center. I know that they give a lot of workshops on LinkedIn and networking. So if the students here do follow Bert and Michelle's advice, they do have their LinkedIn profiles activated and ready to go for any career opportunities, networking, that sort of thing. So definitely feel free to reach out and connect with any of our students via LinkedIn. Okay, so Stephanie finished her Bachelor of Science in Accountancy from CSULB back in fall 2019. Would that count toward the test waiver? So yes, CSULB is an AACSB accredited university. Fall 2019 would fall within that 3 years. You would need to have at least a 3.0 GPA. And you can feel free to reach out to Giselle Oberly. She would be able to go ahead and look over your credentials and just ensure that you do qualify for that test waiver. So Abraham, the question keeps coming up about MS in Applied Mathematics. We don't offer that program through the College of Business, so I can't speak to that program. You would need to reach out to the mathematics department directly to inquire about the requirements for the MS in Applied Mathematics. We don't offer the program here through the College of Business.
Yeah, I apologize. I actually meant if I received the BS in Applied Mathematics, would it waive the test, like the GRE or the GMAT?
So from Cal State Long Beach? Was your bachelor's?
Yes.
Okay. And you would be applying for which program?
The information systems.
For information systems. So yeah, you would want to go ahead and submit a test waiver request. We can pull up your transcripts and the program director would go ahead and look over that. Again, just keeping in mind that you need to have had at least a 3.0 GPA in your undergraduate background from your bachelor's degree.
Thank you.
So we still have quite a few people logged in here. Are there any other questions? Feel free to take yourself off of mute and ask your questions over the microphones, or you can type it into the chat box and can answer those here for everybody.
I'm sorry, Rihanna. It's a similar question. I got my bachelor's from Cal State Long Beach in 2009. And I've taken classes in between there. Would the 3.0 requirement be still valid for the classes I've taken in between, or would it revert back to the 2009?
So it would be, yeah, it would be applied towards your bachelor's degree. And that needs to have been in business from here at Cal State Long Beach.
Okay, so it has to be a business degree?
Right, or a quantitative degree, like the gentleman earlier mentioned, he received his bachelor's in applied mathematics.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, it looks like that might be the end of our questions this evening. We thank all of you for joining us. And again, everybody will be receiving a copy of this along with the slides so that you have your contact you have our contact information. And I know there was quite a few questions about the test waivers. So we'll be able to ensure that we provide you all with the test waiver request form as well. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us.